Um, Hi everyone. Everyone is having a good day. I am having one myself. Today we're gonna talk about Germany. Germany is a very interesting country, and we're gonna focus on the energy aspect. Did Germany start? Did it find itself in this situation? And what's the way forward for Germany? And what is the plan of the German government to make Germany an energy sufficient country, especially since we know what has been going on with the war in Ukraine. We're gonna look at how it became very reliant on Russia's energy, and how it's trying to maneuver through this storm. So, without further ado, Germany is a very interesting country because uh, it's the strongest in terms of economic power in Europe. Its GDP is, I think, $3.8 trillion. The population is 83 million. So that shows you that the German economic power needs a lot of energy to sustain it. You know, Germany is known for having for some pharmaceutical companies, especially chemical companies. Uh, it's one of the largest producers of ammonia. It's a very industrial country in terms of manufacturing and in the industrial prowess. And if you look at the population of Germany, it's also a very large population. You know, Germany, 83 million people. They need a lot of heat, especially when it comes to winter. So if you look at those factors, they clearly show you why Germany needs a lot of energy to sustain itself. You know, Germany has one of the lowest unemployment rate in the world. You know, for a country of almost 80 million, it shows you how they've been able to manage the economy efficiently. You know, Germans are known for efficiency and quality, and most can agree that German products are of high quality. And then even if you have a German product, you can relate, you have something of quality. Uh, so German wasn't always like this. You know, after the war, Germany found itself in a very interesting situation. Germany was carved up into, you know, the Russians, the USSR took, that's the former Soviet Union, took the eastern side of Germany, and the western side was allied to to the American or the western side. So when after the World War, the Chancellor of Germany during the 1950s realized that that's the western side of Germany, realized that he needed to forge a new path of economic development. And, you know, the path of economic development, as we see the world through globalization, the western side just couldn't do that alone. You know, he came to realize that he needed to make friends, even if it's to relate with the USSR, which was occupying East Germany, so that you know, you can form an environment of a cohesive environment, of a peaceful environment, and create relationship through trade. So that time, the German chancellor tried to make friendship with the USSR, and that time the premier of the USSR was Joseph Stalin. And trade between Germany and West Germany and the USSR started slowly by slowly. And now during the 1960s, uh, during the 1960s, the USSR started becoming an energy superpower. You know, it had a lot of gas from places like Siberia. Uh, you know, it had a lot of oil. And German, to revive its economy, needed all these kind of materials, coal, and you know, to try and stay competitive and also become sufficient economically. So the USSR was willing to supply Germany with oil and gas and coal, and so Germany saw that there was an opportunity because the Russians were good in they were already mining the oil, the gas, and the Germans now, because German, they're it's like an industrial country. They were manufacturing steel pipes and selling them to the Russians. So the Russians were using the steel pipes to lay down so that they can transport gas and oil through the Soviet Republic, and Germany really took advantage of this. And at that time, it's when the steel industry in Germany shot and became a very lucrative business, especially steel for pipes. Germany was making a lot of money. And during this time, it started to raise alarm, because now the Soviet Union was piping everywhere, oil and gas, transporting. So when you zoom out, you see there was another bigger player who wasn't happy with this, and that was the United States of America. We can see that at this point, America was in power competition with the USSR. So America saw that Russia trying to lay, oil and gas transport system in Eastern Europe could eventually, make countries in the Western Europe try to want to be a part of that system, and they didn't want. So America at that time forced NATO and to sanction, or put an embargo, so that Germany couldn't sell these steel pipes to Russia, and the project was halted for a while. But now in the 1970s, there was need now for energy, and getting energy from America or from the other parts of the world was very expensive for Germany, and Germany was in need of continuing its manufacturing sector. So Germany approached the Russians again in the 1970s, and they told the Russians, us will give you steel pipes, because you guys are not good in making these steel pipes. As we understand how they are made, or steel pipes, because even those steel pipes that were made at that time are till today being used. Those are the ones that are supplying Europe. So it shows the pipes those pipes were made were of high quality, and the Russians agreed this, and that deal was called pipes for pipes for gas, and and then now, so the Russians, it was called the Amazon pipeline, and the Russians now could supply gas to Europe, and they will pay each other. The Russians supply gas, the Germans pay them with pipes, with the pipes. And I also forgot to mention the first pipeline that was sanctioned by NATO and the Americans is still one of the largest oil pipelines in the world. It's a 4,000 stretch of kilometer of pipeline. So that shows also the magnitude of and extensive, aggressive laying down. So the 4,000 was completed, and now they came to another one called the Amaz pipeline, the second one. Also, that was completed. And then by the time the Berlin Wall was falling, the first, during the 1970, when that pipeline was opened, it was transporting 1 billion cubic meters of gas. And by the time the Berlin Wall was falling, it was transporting 25 billion per year. So it shows you how, the energy, hunger rose very fast, and it went up very fast. So it means there was a lot of industrial work going on in the western and eastern side of Germany. And the Russians really laid these pipes so efficiently that the whole Europe became dependent on Russian gas. And it did stop there. In the 1990s, there was need now to do another pipeline that now was going to bypass Ukraine and go through Belarus and Poland. And this is very critical, because after the fall of the Soviet Union, there was a feeling that Ukraine was not now a reliable partner and the Russian government, because now the USSR has fallen, has collapsed. Now it's the Russian government. It felt that it couldn't trust Ukraine anymore, because it needed to create another route. So it created another route between Belarus, that passed through Belarus and Poland and enters Europe. And one of the reasons was that the aging network system of the gas pipeline in Ukraine was getting old, and also, but I feel the main reason was more of a geopolitical reason. So after that, the pipeline was fully operational, full pumping maximum capacity, I think in the year 2005. And when it finished now, by the time it finished in 2005, uh, the Russians saw, no. We need to create another pipeline. But now this one doesn't pass through countries. And the reason why they switched it immediately, they wanted not to depend on the Belarus, and especially the one that passes to Poland, is because now these countries that had this network of pipelines was were really applying membership to NATO, and some of them were under the NATO umbrella. So Russia felt that in case there's a war or an issue, the pipelines could be cut off, and probably Russia would lose its economic hold, because that's a hold, that's a carrot that Russia was dangling on Europe. It's energy, it's energy industry. And Russia is one of the biggest reserve of minerals. I think Russia holds, I think, 75 trillion worth of $1 trillion worth of underground minerals from gold, oil, gas. It's a very big reservoir. So most of the European countries would rely Russia on minerals, and so it had a hold. But the Russians saw these pipelines crossing through countries is a big risk for business. So they made the Nord Stream 1. And the Nord Stream 1 now passed through the Baltic Sea, and it was heavily opposed by the Baltic countries, the Polands, because they felt that, Russia was now trying to, become very influential in energy supply. And now the Nord Stream 1 went through the Baltic Sea straight to Germany. So again, we see Germany is the main gobbler of Russian energy. And at that time, the Nord Stream 1 started operating in 2012. And the same year, they started another one called the Nord Stream 2. Now the Nord Stream 2 was now supposed to bring even more energy to Germany, but the Nord Stream 2 was heavily opposed by the American government, because now it showed the America clearly that Russia is planning to integrate its energy system into Europe and put a foothold there. It was heavily opposed and as you can remember, even when Donald Trump entered, the former American president heavily opposed. And then you can remember the famous talk where he said Germany will be so energy reliable on Russia, and Russia will just play with Germany how it wants. And the Nord Stream 2 never became operational because, first of all, the 4 years of Donald Trump, they kept threatening companies that were doing the project will be sanctioned. So the project was taken very slow because it started in 2012. And 2013, 2014, Russia annexed Crimea. And now that issue also made the European countries start to insist, this Nord Stream 2 cannot go on. There was pressure from the American government. When Trump came in, he pumped more pressure on them, on the Germans. You cannot rely on Russia. And now the full decision of holding the Nord Stream 2 came this year when Russia invaded Ukraine, and the whole project was halted. We need to understand why Germany preferred also Russian oil and gas and coal over other countries. We must first remember that the USSR did a very good work of laying oil and gas systems throughout Eastern Europe. So Eastern Germany, they had very good transportation system of oil and gas. So when the USSR collapsed, those systems still remained, and they were very efficient, done well. And the fact it was a communist country, getting labor was very easy. Getting people to do those jobs was very easy. The fact that the USSR, the communists, controlled that half of the the other side of Europe, the Eastern Europe. It was very easy. So they laid the network very good. And when the Berlin Wall collapsed, the Western side saw that, why should we try and get energy from America or from the Middle East? And already the system is laid there. So it was easy to integrate. And you can't compare gas and oil coming through ships and gas and oil coming through pipes. Pipes is more efficient to come in large numbers. When you put gas to a ship, you have to liquefy, to put it in liquid form, to convert it in liquid form, liquefy it, and then the destination where it will go, you have also to build, liquefiers. The store liquefiers to the store system. I'd say it's like a refinery. It's not like it's like a gas store system where now the gas can be, because it's in liquid form from the ship, it can be put into the the storage facility, and then now it turned to gas, and that's another whole process. The expense, it makes the whole the whole chain a bit expensive. The whole chain of getting the gas, that whole chain becomes, it's very costly. So rather than just opening the Russians open the tap on that side and you open yours and it comes very well, you don't have to liquefy it, comes in gas form. So to the Germans, that was a better deal, a good deal. And they saw that this is way better. And if you look, even today, German has no liquefying station. They're trying to build. So it shows you that they were heavily reliant on Russian gas and oil. And another thing why they depended on Russian oil and gas and coal is because they wanted to create a friendship. Whenever there's money or finance, it's easy to create friendship. And they wanted to create a friendship in where Russia is dependent on Germany for finances, for Germany buying its oil, and Germany is dependent on Russia for oil and gas, so that all of them can value the friendship. And Russia was always seen as an aggressive country, but Germany felt that this was the way to make Russia calm. It won't do anything to us, and on the other side, they won't fear anything from us, because we are so dependent on each other. And a lot of people have been blaming Angela Merkel, and although she might take some blame, but when you ask me, I think with the chronological I've given you, you can see that it wasn't Merkel. Probably she added the fuel to the fire, but the fire was already the flames were already burning. Because if you see, since after the World War, the first chancellor, all German chancellors were always targeting Russia to become a friend. They're always negotiating deals with Russia in energy, in oil. There was always that understanding that the German industry, for it to be successful, it needed a reliable partner, especially in energy. And Russia never disappointed, the SSR never disappointed. So Merkel is just a product of the system she found. For me, I've actually found Merkel to be one of the best German chancellors. So I know she accelerated the Nord Stream 1 and 2, but it's not entirely her fault. She found the groundwork had already been laid by other chancellor. And now this is another reason why Germany needed Russia, because Russia provided cheap oil. And so German industries needed to be competitive internationally, so they can't be buying oil and, labor there is expensive. Then the production cannot also be expensive, the production cost, because you can't be buying oil at exorbitant prices and still be competing with other industry, the other countries in export. So that is why they relied. And you can see now that there's issues between Germany phasing itself from Russian oil. You can clearly see that the worry of the people or the manufacturing sector will be buying oil more expensive. So the products will have to be a bit expensive, because now you can see that they are targeting Senegal, Qatar, America, Norway, to get gas and oil. And these countries, especially right now, from the economies have been struggling because of COVID, post-pandemic, and now there's the war in Ukraine. The energy prices have soared so highly, and now it's a matter of demand and supply. In Germany, every oil producer in the world knows Germany is desperate for energy and oil, so they'll set their prices up. Some of them are not even willing to negotiate with Germany, because Germany, because they already have existing contracts. Like a country like Qatar, it has existing contracts that take it till 2040. So it means that 80 to 85% of gas from Qatar is already booked. So Germany just can't come on the table, and then we don't fulfill our contracts. We give you gas. So Germany will have to settle with like 10% of. So there are so many issues. And also, Germany also just wants gas and oil just now, because let's remember that Germany is one of the biggest for any propagators of green energy. It's one of the biggest pushers. So Germany doesn't see itself as a country that would be using fossil fuel for the next 30, 40 years. It just needs it now, as it as it does its work. And if you look and if you look at the Green Party, their strategy, the Green Party, the one that took over Merkel, their strategy was to promote Germany to be a green country, but all of that was reversed due to the war. There were plans even to shut down the nuclear power plants, but now they don't want to shut them down, because they saw that the war has destabilized their manifesto. And their manifesto was to promote Germany to be 95% a green country by the year 2030 to 2040. So the fact that Germany sees itself as not a long-time buyer of oil and gas also is making the sellers of these products very wary, because the sellers of these products prefer a 20-year contract. A 20-year contract is a good contract, so that they are assured of constant income. And if they invest, because a country like Germany, you can see that it has no stations to convert the liquid gas into the liquefied gas into gas. And now they've already put $500 million. But countries like Qatar, they're feeling like, 10 years is short for us. We'll have invested a lot, and we want you to settle with a 20-year contract, because even how Germany is building the liquefied gas station is building them on the shore. It's not building them on the land. So it's showing that this is not something we plan to do for the next 50 years, 40 years. The Green Party, the German government is setting aside 200 billion euro to ensure that Germany makes a full transition by 2035 to be a fully 95% electric country, renewable energy country. So Germany is finding itself in a very tricky situation. But nevertheless, there are people who are willing to help its cause. Immediately this issue started, you can see the minister of the minister, the president of Germany flew to Senegal, and he met with the president of Senegal. Germany is planning to extract gas from the Senegal coast. The gas is in the Senegal, and it's between the Senegal and Mauritius side. They have a pact where there's a pact where that both of them agree that the resource will be shared evenly. So the president of Germany was there. Their plan is to start uh, production of gas from Senegal to Germany by, it was supposed to start this year, because of the pandemic it was delayed by 1 year. So it's starting next year, and most of the gas will be going from Senegal to Germany, but now it will have to be liquefied, and because there's no pipe and sent through ship. Um, Another country that Germany has also been eyeing is Algeria. Algeria is it's number three. It sends 10% of its gas to Europe. You know, the biggest supplier was Russia. The second was Norway. The third was Algeria. Norway is also a very interesting country. In fact, Norway has been supplying gas to most European countries, and and now when Germany is trying to tap into the Norwegian market, although sometimes people say the Norwegian gas and oil is a bit expensive, but if you look at how Norway has behaved with this mineral of gas and oil, they are very superb. You know, they've made sure that all the money that comes from this product has benefited the locals. And interestingly, you know, Norway, 90% of it is hydroelectric power. So even Norwegians themselves don't use the gas and oil that much. Most of it is exported, and and you know, there are countries that seemed to have already seen where this Russian European issue will get them. You know, like a country like Poland, as we speak this year, by October there'll be a pipeline between them and Norway will be operational, and it will pass through Denmark. So it means a country like Poland won't suffer what Germany is going through. Poland has made sure it's not relying on any Russian oil and gas. It's a very smart move. Uh, you know, even the time of USSR, Poland was the first country to instigate the breakaway from USSR. So that shows also that Poland is it's always ahead of the step. And you see now, even when the people are saying the European Union want to sanction Russian oil, you know, a country like Poland is not afraid, because it was 10 steps ahead. And countries that seem to be not in concurrent with concurring with this ban on Russian oil and gas are countries like Germany, you know, Hungary, you know, because especially Germany, because Germany sees its manufacturing sector being affected heavily. And you can see even this year, the economy has contracted. German economy has contracted because, let's remember, it's a post-pandemic. It's trying to come up after post-pandemic. And when it's just trying to come up now, these issues of energy have hit it, and it's really struggling. But when you look at the German government, I think it's ready to cut itself from Russian oil and gas, because uh, by now there's a total reduction in coal import. They're importing coal from South Africa, Colombia, and you know, oil is down by 50%, gas is down by 50%. So there's a serious political will in the German government to wean itself from Russian energy. They realize that this is a threat to the economy. You know, another country, you know, that's a critical infrastructure energy, and it cannot be left to another country to handle. That's why it's pushing for strategic deal with countries like Senegal, Qatar. We saw uh, one of the German government ministers in Qatar immediately, and then the Qatar emir visited Germany also. And there are those discussions to try and make sure that Germany is energy sufficient. Qatar is planning by 2024 to put Germany on the list, at least so that it can manage itself and come up. For now, the Qatar are not promising much, because they have existing contract, but the sources show that Qatar have a subsidiary company in America, the Gulf of Mexico. So that's where Germany is going to be getting its gas. The station was one of the largest in America for liquefied gas, but At that time was when America was a really heavy importer of gas, but now it's not. So they've decided the gas there to be supplied to Germany so that it can meet uh, its need. What is the future of Germany through all this? I think that the future is right now it's a bit ambiguous, but and Germany being the strongest economy, it means that if it goes to recession, it might affect other European countries which is not good, and the the cost of living will go high. You know, like now they are saying that uh, the monthly pass for transport that used to give people is almost over. People have to be paying now, and this shows you that Germany is really trying to rethink how it's gonna maneuver through the next frontier. But when we see how things are going, we can see that probably 5 years from now, 4 years from now, no Russian oil and gas will be going through Europe anymore. They'll completely have cut themselves off. I think this is a decision. This is a boat that has already sailed. This is a decision that they've decided now. No, we have to cut these guys off. That's why you're seeing Russia is everywhere, especially in Asia, trying to find another market and trying uh, to sell the oil to India and China. And also the fact that Germany is openly supplying arms to Ukraine, I think that also has also angered Russia. And that's why you see the other day, the Russians cut the gas supply into Germany, and they pretended it was a maintenance issue. Those are now the politics that are being played. And the Russians know that winter is coming, and Europe might winter is the one that's going to tell the truth if really Europe is prepared to stay away from Russian oil, if it's really prepared to cut itself uh, from the Russian oil, because once winter come and there is no gas or energy supply, it might be issues. And you can also already feel things have changed all over the world. The prices of commodities have gone up, food and fuel. And looking at how this my we came to find ourselves here, although my I was zooming on Germany because Germany is the biggest player in Europe. It's the largest economy, so it is the one that will feel the biggest brunt of um, of lack of energy from Russia. And another thing, we also have to know that to keep in mind that Germany is one of the biggest producers of ammonia. Ammonia is very necessary in fertilizers. They convert the gas into ammonia. Ammonia is a very important fertilizer component, and now you can clearly see why the fertilizer prices have gone up. Because you see that the Western countries have sanctioned Russia fertilizer manufacturing sector. So Russia was also one of the largest manufacturers of fertilizer with Belarus. They've both been sanctioned, and now Russia is not supplying gas to Germany, which Germany is also a fertilizer manufacturer of ammonia. So you find that this will likely push fertilizers cost high, and fertilizer cost high means there's food production becomes expensive, or there are two things: either food production becomes too expensive and food is too expensive, or if there is no fertilizer, then the people won't farm, and there will be no food, or there'll be less food. So this is a very, very tricky conundrum. And you can see the issue of the energy and the Russian war is also making the European Parliament to be very divided. They cannot come to a consensus and agree on total embargo on Russian oil. But at the same time, they are winners. Qatar, Norway. You see Senegal, Nigeria now. Nigeria is building a pipeline from Nigeria all the way to Europe. They are winners who are making good money from the shortage of oil. Saudi Arabia is one of them. As you remember, Joe Biden just visited Saudi Arabia, trying to convince them to lower the oil. We can see even America is trying to reach out to adversaries like Venezuela, trying to tell them, because there's the oil issue is very big around the world. America is trying even to reach to Venezuela, trying to create a deal so that oil in Venezuelan oil can enter the market. Venezuela is has the largest oil reserves in the world. So they are trying probably to leave the sanction. Nicolas Maduro the other day released the so-called Americans who he says were sent to assassinate him. So he released them in a show of goodwill. So it means there's so much things going on. They even reconsidering to put Iranian oil on the market, because how things are going. It has also affected the foreign policies of other countries like America. Germany, the Green Party entered with the aim of promoting clean energy, but now they have found themselves they are now even depending on coal, oil, and because they even now reconsidering mining in German shores to try and mine oil. Those are the deals that are put on the table. So I'll continue looking at this issue and giving an insight and letting you guys know what's going on there. Uh, in the meantime, I think life will be continue to be a bit expensive because of the issues that are going on in the world, and right now we can see clearly there's an alignment. We are back into the Cold War days somehow. Let's say it's not a full Cold War, but it's a fluke. It's more of a fluke Cold War because now Russia and China are together. The West is on the other side. So uh, some countries will find themselves in the middle, and some will have to choose sides. Who are you supporting? And as you know, when because there's also the issues also it's also dividing Europe. So people are being pressured, like India was being pressured not to buy Russian oil by the Americans, and it was being pressured to choose side. It's either you are with us or stop funding the war in Ukraine. Those kind of statements. So we're in a very tricky situation, and I'll keep giving an insight on what's happening and let you guys know. Uh, uh, Thanks for pulling through watching, and have a good day until next time. Thank you.